Hey, it's Nick Jankis, and welcome to Happy Hour Anytime, where we take a moment to celebrate the positive and uplifting stories from the past 7 days, as heard on 95.9 The River's Happy Hour from noon to 1. Now, life can be hard sometimes, and it's important for us to remember that amidst the challenges and difficulties, there are still good things happening all around us. So sit back, relax, and let's take a look at some of the most heartwarming and inspiring stories from the past week. From acts of kindness to groundbreaking achievements, these stories are sure to bring a smile to your face and a sense of hope to your heart. Here's to spreading joy, positivity, and good news. Let's get started. So I got to tell you about a seventh grade hero up in Michigan. His name is Dylan Reeves, and he was on the bus, and the bus driver got lightheaded and actually passed out. Dylan rushed to the front of the bus, got behind the wheel, and managed to stop the thing before anybody got hurt. Think about how impressive that is. Whenever there's something going wrong or an emergency, even just adults freeze and don't know what to do. Well, Dylan did exactly what he needed to do and is being honored by his city up in Michigan. Good on him. A seventh grader saving some lives there, no doubt about it. Firefighters in Indiana saved a cat that was stuck in a tree. We just heard about the Plainfield Fire Department saving ducks. Well, same thing here. This poor cat kept climbing farther and farther up, but eventually fell, and they caught it in a net. They're not sure who it belongs to. Looks like it escaped through a hole in the net and ran off. Meanwhile, firefighters in Tennessee saved a dog that fell 50 feet into a cave. They actually rappelled down using a harness to hoist it back up. Thankfully, that dog wasn't hurt. And get this, smoking is not cool anymore. The CDC says smoking has an all-time low in the United States. Only about 11% of adults smoke right now. That is down from 42% back in the 60s. A new study in the UK found the average smoker will spend about $166,000 on cigarettes over the course of their life. So quitting is going to save you a ton of money, something you probably don't need to tell smokers about. They already know. It is Happy Hour. Nothing but good news between 4 and 5 every day. Brought to you by RJ Graham Plumbing. We'll announce the winner for that free lunch to Everdean's Grilled Cheese in downtown Naperville coming up in just a few. Stick around. I wanted to tell you about this guy named Tori. Tori's from Lincoln, Nebraska, and he showed up at a lottery headquarters in Nebraska this month to claim his jackpot. His $10 jackpot. That's all it was. He didn't win a couple $100,000 or $1 million. Nope, $10. He won it on a scratch-off ticket, but he showed up at the lottery headquarters because, well, he wanted his photo with a giant check, and the Nebraska Lottery played along. It was awesome. When he asked what he planned to do with his winnings, he said, let it ride. You can actually go to the Nebraska Lottery's social media and see this hilarious picture of this guy named Tori holding up his large check for $10. And I got to tell you this story, too. A bunch of employees for the Kansas City Royals, the Major League Baseball team, actually saved a dog that climbed into a woman's engine compartment. This puppy was rescued, thankfully, after traveling inside of the engine compartment of this car for about a half an hour over the course of 30 miles. And I don't know if you know anything about it, but it gets really, really hot in there. Here's the vehicle owner, Ashley Newman, and her coworker, Dennis, talking about rescuing the pup.
Someone thinks there's a dog in your car, and I'm like, in my car? So I come outside, I rush in to unlock the car, pop the hood. We look for a few seconds, and sure enough, there are just two little eyeballs just looking up at us.
The dog was in a really tight spot, and we were able to just take the under trim off and get her free.
I cried instantly, and the little puppy is back home with mom. She went on a 30-minute commute with me to work, and I didn't even know it. It's one of those stories that unless you have a video, I don't know if anyone would ever believe it.
Yep, we sure do believe it. Thankfully, the dog's okay. Like you heard, is back with its owners, all safe and sound. Get a load of this. A new study found that parrots like Zoom. Yeah, parrots like the bird. When researchers let them make video calls and contact other birds, they showed less signs of being lonely. Who knew? Parrots like technology. How about that? Also read about this. A set of quadruplet brothers just opened their own Jersey Mike's franchise in New Jersey last week. They're 25 years old. They all worked at Jersey Mike's in high school, and they started talking about opening up their own store back then and finally made it happen. Sadly, none of them happened to be named Mike, even though they're from New Jersey, which would make the story even cooler. but you don't see quadruplet brothers opening up a store very often. No, I know they also say not to work with family that close. Hopefully those quadruplets can all get along and have a successful franchise. If you got any good news stories, I need to know about it. I love passing along these good news stories, especially if they're local. So give me a shout. You just go to our website. We have a page dedicated to that at 959theriver.com/happy hour. You can fill out the short form and let me know what positivity you want me to send. If you're looking for a spot for dinner tonight, consider Foxfire. You should always consider Foxfire whenever you think about lunch or dinner, but tonight especially because there's a great event going on where the Geneva police officers will be serving as the wait staff, and all of the tips will be going to the Law Enforcement Torch Run for Special Olympics. It's a great event that supports Special Olympics, and it gets the police officers engaged in the community, and they just have a great time. It's a lot of fun. You're going to enjoy some delicious food, obviously, but you're going to be supporting a great cause. And what I love about Foxfire and why I love our partnership is because this isn't the only thing that they do to support the community. They made hundreds of free meals during the pandemic for frontline workers. They gave discounts to people who had gift cards to businesses that were closing to support the community. They made sure that kids had Christmas presents by getting involved in the Community Santa Project. And they even, I don't know if they did this once or they do this all the time, but they had jumbo Christmas cards that they had customers sign that they give to Geneva Police and Fire Department. The long story short, they do so much for this community, and I am so proud to be partnering with them. Go ahead and head on out there tonight for Tip a Cop. It starts at 5, goes till 9. All the tips generated go to the Special Olympics of Illinois. There's a veterinarian in Pennsylvania that saved a poodle named Toodles after it somehow overdosed on opioids. They gave the dog Narcan, and it is expected to make a full recovery. Here's Julie Klim, the CEO of Pennsylvania's SPCA, telling Toodles' story.
He was found by some folks who were bike riding and found Toodles unresponsive with his owner also unresponsive. So the police came and took the owner to the hospital, and the Good Samaritans took Toodles here to Blue Pearl Hospital. The finders suspected he had OD'd based on the situation and relayed that to the emergency hospital, and they called us because we're the police force of record for animal cruelty in Pennsylvania. Toodles will be adopted this afternoon. We had so many folks calling in. We expect him to go to a home.
Yeah, great news for sure. I got two other quick animal-related stories. There's a deaf woman in the UK that has a 2-year-old cat named Zebby who actually alerts her when the phone rings or there's like a strange sound in the house. The cat has no formal training in this. The extra help is just a role that it has taken on. It's a big enough deal to make Zebby one of the 12 finalists for the National Cat Awards, which I didn't know that was a thing, but I'm sure Leslie Harris does. And finally, Michigan State's Dairy Center has started holding monthly cow petting events to help people de-stress. They started doing it for their teaching staff a few months ago, and it was so popular they decided to open it up to the public. Now, I'm not sure if petting a cow would help my stress level go down. I'd always be afraid it would just start running and crush me. So how's this for mind over matter? There's a former news anchor in Houston who broke both of his wrists in an Ironman race on Saturday. He still finished. He crashed his bike 8 miles into the 112-mile bike ride portion, and he didn't even realize his wrists were broken at that point. So he rode another 104 miles on his bike, and then he ran a full marathon. Those Ironman competitions are absolutely crazy. I saw a picture of the guy. He was smiling, holding up his medal, while both of his forearms were completely bandaged up. Pretty incredible story of mind over matter, no doubt about it. And you know what? Sometimes the good news story doesn't have to be so serious. It can just be silly, like this out of Belgium. Belgium has a new goal screeching competition. They do an annual contest where people impersonate seagulls. The winner was a 21-year-old guy named Jarmo Sluter. He won this year while dressed as a seagull. My only question now is, do I play it? Yeah, what the heck? And there it is, your champion seagull screeching from the Netherlands, Jarmo Sluter. But right now, I'm going to tell you about this. Now, I feel like these folks might see a lot of the same customers. 26 Burger Kings just closed down in Michigan last week, and over 400 people got laid off. That's not the good news. But now there's a marijuana company that is offering to hire all of them and pay them more than what they were making before. They'll all make at least $16 an hour. Say what you want about the legalization of marijuana and the dispensaries coming up, but at least in this case, going above and beyond to help out the local economy and keep people employed. That's pretty awesome. And I've heard about this guy before. It was a few years ago, I think, but he's trending again. Back in 2005, a guy in Iowa named Dale Schroeder passed away at the age of 86. Well, before he died, he took his $3 million life savings and set up a scholarship fund to send 33 total strangers to college. But why are we talking about them now? Well, this year, those strangers all graduate. Here's one of those graduates, Kira Conrad, and Dale's friend and lawyer Steve Nielsen talking about that amazing gift.
I grew up in a single-parent household, and I had 3 older sisters, so paying for all 4 of us was never an option.
I said, I never got the opportunity to go to college, and so I'd like to help kids go to college. Finally, I kind of was curious. I said, how much are we talking about, Dale? And he said, oh, just shy of $3 million, and I nearly fell out of my chair.
For a man that would never meet me to give me basically a full ride to college, that's incredible.
Yeah, that's awesome. Dale grew up poor, never married, worked as a carpenter for 67 years, but still managed to squirrel away all that money. And since he never went to college, he wanted to help other kids go. His only ask was that they pay it forward someday, and I'm sure those 33 kids will. Hey, check this out. Mattel just unveiled the first Barbie doll with Down syndrome. How cool is that? As part of their efforts to make Barbies more inclusive, they've also got them with hearing aids and wheelchairs and prosthetic legs now as well. It's great for girls who don't look exactly like a Barbie doll to find a Barbie doll that looks like them. How neat is that? And get a load of this story too. A couple in Florida, their name is Vic and Marge. Vic and Marge, I love it. They just celebrated their 80th anniversary. She's 98 and he is 101. Here's Vic and Marge and their kids talking about their long relationship.
I asked for her phone number, and I remember the number.
Play golf together, we dance together, we play cards together.
I'm a marriage counselor, and they have been my inspiration for believing in marriage. They could have lived a more extravagant life if they chose to, but they didn't. What was important to them was their kids, their family, each other, golf and dancing.
Golf and dancing. I love it. I just love their name is Vic and Marge, celebrating their 80th anniversary. As you heard there, their secret is being honest with each other and taking care of each other. But I got some more good news stories to share with you here on Happy Hour, brought to you by RJ Graham Plumbing. Get a load of this story. A 3-year-old with autism wandered onto a set of train tracks in New York earlier this month. Thankfully, the crew of that train was on their game, man. They stopped that oncoming train just in time and saved that little kid's life. It is all on video, and it's pretty crazy. Here's train operator William Kennedy along with the assistant conductor Marcus Higgins making the call about the toddler on the rails and then going out to rescue him.
You stop all traffic.
We need you to kill rail. We got a toddler here on the tracks. Over.
Roger, stop south of Chevy Yard.
Looks like the family's here. We're just trying to sort everything out at the moment.
Yeah, pretty crazy. His mom was looking for him. It was all very emotional when she actually showed up. 5 MTA workers just got commendations for it. Very cool. And get a load of this. A podcaster in Pittsburgh is named Rob Oliver, and he now holds the record for the longest interview marathon. He talked to 137 people over the course of 37 hours and 44 minutes. An accident actually left him paralyzed back in 1993. And a couple of years ago, he launched a podcast called Perspectives on Healthcare, which is about the healthcare system, obviously. So the record attempt was also tied to raising awareness for that as well. So do you ever get kidney stones? Now, I've been lucky enough where I haven't had to deal with it. I hear it's painful. I do know some people who've had to. But if you got small kidney stones and you want to pass them before they turn into big kidney stones, like ones that might require surgery, there's a solution that is both fun and mildly terrifying. Roller coasters, specifically Big Thunder Mountain Railroad at Disney. Now, people have been talking about this as a quote-unquote cure for kidney stones for a while, and there's even been studies that show that it can be effective. So this week, a woman named Steph Fallon flew from New Jersey to Disney World specifically to ride Thunder Mountain and pass her kidney stone. She even got a celebration button and had it say, "I'm celebrating passing a kidney stone." She said that she rode the ride twice and sat in the back row because that's reportedly the best spot for stone passing, I guess. And then she went back to the airport and made it back to Jersey by midnight. She did it all in one day. And wouldn't you know it, would we be talking about it here on the radio in Illinois if it didn't work? It did. The next morning, she woke up and passed that kidney stone. She said she's been in pain for a week leading up to the impromptu trip, and she would rate the experience of using Disney to pass a stone a 10 out of 10. How about that? A little early happy hour story for you. By the way, if you have a kidney stone, you want to try the roller coaster method, but don't want to go to Disney, one expert said find a roller coaster that is quick and rough with twists and turns, but no upside down or inverted movements. Maybe a Six Flags trip might be in your future. Hey, whatever works, right? So there's our friends at Allied First Bank. They actually have a basketball court in the bank, which I absolutely love. I'm a basketball freak, so I love that. And they do this thing where some people can shoot a ball from the president's office, which is like on the second floor. They open a window over the basketball court, and if you make the shot, they'll donate $1,000 to charity in your honor. Now, they said that nobody ever makes the shot on the first try. Well, here comes a guy named Mike.
Here we go.
Good luck.
All right. Oh my.
Oh my gosh, you gotta be kidding me.
Yep, he nailed it, and they gave him $1,000 to donate, all courtesy of Allied First Bank. He donated it to a food bank, from what I understand. Elsewhere up in Elmhurst, they have their new art installation up and ready to go. It's called Umbrella Sky. It looks absolutely beautiful. They have an opening party scheduled for tomorrow up in Elmhurst if you want to check that out. And a shout out to the Plainfield Fire Department. Just the other day, they were diving around in the sewers of Plainfield, rescuing 18 baby ducklings. From what I understand, there is a very happy mama duck walking around. From what I understand, there was a very relieved mama duck nearby. So thank you very much to the Plainfield Fire Department for that. And that'll do it for Happy Hour Anytime. We hope that these stories have brought a smile to your face and a sense of hope to your heart. Remember, no matter what is happening in the world, there's always good news to be found around you. So make it a habit to seek out and share the positive and uplifting stories in your own life and community. And share them with us, too, at 959theriver.com/happy hour or any of our social media platforms at 959theriver. I'll be back next week with more good news stories, so to be sure to subscribe and tune in. You can always listen to Happy Hour live from noon to 1 on 95.9 The River, and on your smart speaker, just tell it to play 95.9 The River. In the meantime, keep spreading joy, positivity, and good news. Have a great week.